Ethereum continues to crash towards the downside, but in today's episode I want to talk about this key pattern and what it means for Ethereum, as well as cover the latest expiry that's happening in the Ethereum options today, which could have a major impact on the markets. Hello guys, and welcome to the House of Crypto. I make videos about Ethereum as well as other cryptocurrencies, so if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on the way in to be kept up to date with all the latest Ethereum news as well as technical analysis. Without further ado then, let's jump straight into the charts and take a look at what's happening with Ethereum. Okay, so what we can see here guys is we had the big crash down to around the sort of $1,800 level just a few days ago, and what we're seeing currently on the 4-hour chart, we were rejected pretty hard at the 2891 yesterday, and since then we've seen a huge drop of around 11%, slightly recovering now to around a 9% drop at the current time. What I want to draw your attention to, guys, is obviously we have this spike down, and obviously I'm aware that that's not within the kind of like the grounds of this pattern, but what happens often is when we see these big sell-offs that we do tend to see a bit of an overreaction, and actually it does tend to return. And as you can see, this is a fairly substantial line of support here, since we tested it once here, a couple of times here. Again, we kind of broke up back through and then retested it here. And as you can see, literally in the last hour or so, we've tested it again for a 4th time. So what does that mean for us? Well, what I can see happening potentially, if we can continue to hold above this level and have a 4-hour close within the sort of the grounds of this line, and then have a bullish engulfing candle, so that means a green candle that's going to come above this red candle, then what we can potentially see is a break back up towards this level. As you can see, it's provided a substantial amount of resistance here, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 hits already, so it'll be interesting to see whether we can come back up to this level and retest it. If we don't manage to, and we can see ourselves closing further outside of here, then don't be surprised if we take another visit down towards the levels at around the $2,100, $2,200 level. Now, another thing that will come into play if we can come back up and retest this level is then we start to look again at the head and shoulders pattern that we talked about yesterday. Obviously we had this kind of what looked like a bit of a shoulder here, but obviously wasn't able to kind of gain enough steam to break through. We didn't have the volume coming in, and it was dropped off again. I'm going to talk in a moment at a piece of news about options expiry, which could explain the lack of volume in trading at the moment. So we got this shoulder here back on the sort of 19th of May, and then we saw it bounce back up to this upside, get rejected, come all the way back down to form the head of the pattern, and then as you can see here, what we could be doing is putting in another shoulder here. So here obviously we did wick all the way down, and that was due to a lot of leverage trades being liquidated, so it'll be interesting to see whether we can maintain above this level. But as I've already explained, this orange trend line moving upwards looks to be holding at current levels, so it will be interesting to see if that can play out. Now, if that is to break, then we take normally from the neckline all the way down to the head, and probably to, we won't necessarily go down to the bottom of the wicks, but these sort of solid candles here, and that would then give us a breakout target somewhere around the level here, which would be around the $3,859 level, which is obviously a huge way up, and obviously have a huge amount of obstacles on our way back up towards that level, so it's not necessarily going to happen overnight. But one thing to note is that within this range between the $2,800 level and around the $3,400 level is there's not actually a huge amount of trading volume. Okay, so if we can break through what is a very sticky patch at the moment, because there's a lot of trading volume within this area, then if we were to break through, then we could see a move extremely quickly, in my opinion, up through this area to then sort of test the levels once, you know, we get up to around the 3,145 level, where we see that we had the dip and a retest here, and again another retest, and obviously as well this big white trend pattern which we've been playing in for the last few months. Now, something else I want to show you over on the weekly chart. I took this Fibonacci retracement back from the 10th of March all the way up to the biggest high, and this was on a daily close, which is why, you know, we've got this wick here, and it might seem that I've gone a bit high, but zooming into the daily chart, you can see that this is the level here. And this for me is very key to be looking at right now, because as you can see, previously we saw a great deal of resistance at this level here, where we came up and we bounced off it multiple times, and over a period of probably about a week it took to break through, and eventually it did break through, came up to the next level before proving this as support for a sort of a W pattern, and that's where we then saw our big run up all the way to sort of nearly $4,500. As you can see, we kind of found a bit of resistance at around this level here, and then we moved all the way back down to test and pretty much never really had a close, although slightly below, never really had a close below this line, and then we come up and we bounced through again. So this area around here is probably going to provide us with a bit of resistance within this pattern, but once we kind of can break through, if we can break through around the $2,620 level, then potentially I think we're going to be moving back up towards the upside. But the key level that we're watching at the moment is around the 2,500, and as you can see, we're still sitting very closely to that, so take care in your trades at the moment. Personally, I'm not going to be entering any trades until I can see this pattern play out to the upside. If I see a significant break to the downside, then I'll be looking more bearish. But Ethereum is looking much more steady when compared with Bitcoin, but obviously Bitcoin can have a huge impact, as we know. When Bitcoin falls, Ethereum will tend to follow, but if Bitcoin can maintain a level, then we can see Ethereum making significant gains against Bitcoin. Jumping over to the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, as you can see, similar things have happened today where we've also had a bit of a dip, and I've again drawn this Fibonacci 1 from the all-time high back towards the recent low. As you can see, for the couple of days we were above the 618 before we sharply came back down. We come all the way down and we've retested the 0.5, and so far we seem to be holding above the 0.5. So what I can see potentially is that we're going to see a bounce slightly further up, but be aware that things can always go against us. Nothing is guaranteed in trading, and as I mentioned before, it's worth sitting on the sidelines until the perfect opportunity presents itself. Now, one thing that could have been having quite a big impact on trading as well as trading volume is something that's actually due to happen today, and that is the monthly 1.9 billion Ethereum futures and options expiry. Not all of that is necessarily going to expire today because people might extend their contracts, but what options basically force people to do is they say a month in advance that they're prepared to buy at a certain price and prepared to sell if they want to short the market at another price. Now, at the moment, the majority of the options are call options, which with a large proportion of them being at around $3,200. So what does that mean? It means that actually, if the options expire, that they are forced to pay $3,200 for the Ethereum contract, which obviously puts money into the market and will see Ethereum rise. But because there's a potential that people will extend their contracts, there's not actually an exact known amount that are going to expire today, and that could have a huge impact because obviously $3,200 is quite far off right now, and people will likely want to extend perhaps for another month, which could mean that more bear trades come in, and then that does tend to mean that this would drop the market. Okay, so May 28th, futures and options expiry could be a turning point for Ether as the cryptocurrency rebounded from 60% into the low of $1,730 on 23rd of May. Even though the open interest stands at $6.2 billion, only 16% is set to expire on Friday, as most of the action takes place on the perpetual and June contracts. Okay, so at this point here I've just mentioned, as for the $980 million in Ether futures set to expire on Friday, crypto exchange Huobi takes the lead with 300 million in open interest. CME closely follows it. However, CME traders traditionally roll over most of the positions over the past couple of trading days, so this number could be greatly reduced as we approach the deadline. And as I mentioned, that adds uncertainty, and traders and big traders don't like to trade when there's uncertainty in terms of other things that they can't really factor in. They can't notice this. It doesn't necessarily show up in the trading patterns, and it could have a bit of an impact when they are due to expire, which will happen at around 8 AM UTC. So when you're watching this, it may have already happened, but it's something to keep note of and to always be careful. And this is why we use stop losses, because even when we see a breakout happen and we think we've done all the technical analysis correctly, trades can always move against us because of factors that were not foreseen, for example, Elon Musk comments or things like this. So in my opinion, Ethereum is not necessarily looking 100% bullish right now, but in my opinion, it's looking more bullish than it is bearish. And it's going to be really exciting to see what happens, because we get up to this point here and we can break through, then we could potentially be looking at something really exciting. If we can see a breakthrough and a quick rise up, we will then see more FOMO enter the market, and all those people who perhaps lost a bit of money before will then jump back in, all excited to try and make their money. Maybe they lost, maybe before they missed out on the opportunity. There's probably a lot of people waiting in the wings to wait for a move and get excited about jumping on board, so we can see prices move very quickly once we break through. Now, one thing I have mentioned on my channel in the last couple of weeks is Emerald Rockets. Well, the rest of the crypto market has been really struggling. You can see Emerald Rockets has been flying up. So it launched on the 14th of May, and I covered it back then. And since then, it's gone from 1 cent and it's gone all the way up to 11 cents. Okay, so that's over 1,000% returns, which is pretty amazing in my opinion. So it's a utility token which is used for a company called Tuition Brokers, which is fighting against the student debt problem by providing online education systems at the moment. At the moment, they're only in the first initial stages, but it's already sort of driving success. And they have another version which is going to get launched later on this year, which is going to promise very big things. And in terms of returns for Emerald Rockets, things are looking very positive. At the moment, it's super new, so you probably won't find it over on CoinMarketCap, but that's nothing unusual, because obviously, you know, there's a lot of cryptocurrency and crypto companies entering the space, and they don't have necessarily all of these coming into the fold. But given the rise that we've seen already from Emerald Rockets, which has already increased a staggering around 1,000% in just a couple of weeks, it's looking super bullish in my opinion. So I'll leave a link to this page down below, so you can head over there and you can basically go over and buy it on SushiSwap, which is super easy. Okay, so you basically just go over and you can connect your MetaMask, and you use this code here to put into SushiSwap, and then it will bring up the EROC token, and then you can purchase as much as you like through there. As I mentioned at the time of this video, it's around 11 cents per token, so that might fluctuate a little bit when you come to see it. In my opinion, it's worth getting involved in these projects that are already showing great success, and there's a lot of interest flowing into them, and as well, they already have an established program that's already showing success and a great roadmap ahead. Over on the website, there's lots of videos with this guy, Matt Byron, who's the founder, and he's got loads and loads of information that he can share with you about it, and this is a great website with lots of information available. So guys, just a really quick video today. Always be very careful with your trades. At the moment, we're not seeing huge volumes in trading, but as and when something happens, or as and when we break through key levels, we can see moves happen extremely fast in either direction. So make sure you're protecting yourself against that. If you're trading or leverage trading, make sure you're using stop losses. If you're new to leverage trading, then I suggest, you know, not over leveraging yourself, and always never risking more money than you can afford to lose, because it is extremely risky and you can lose every penny in your trading account. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please smash that like button. It really helps me get this video out to more people. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of the latest happening in Ethereum, as well as ICOs that are doing over 1,000% in just 2 weeks. And I'll always try to find new and exciting projects to bring to you when I can. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see you again tomorrow with another video. Bye bye.